want to clarify a point that we mentioned last time, because the last half of the class, the video was muted. So I clarified for those who watched it in the on the YouTube. So we were talking about the things that that makes the wudu obligatory. So one of them was tawaf. So we mentioned the prayer, sajda tilawa, sajda sah, tawaf, and touching the mushaf. So in the tawaf, we mentioned if someone didn't know about this rule, that he has to do or she has to do the tawaf with wudu, right? And they just do the whole tawaf or the half of the tawaf or any like one round or 2 rounds, whatever, without wudu. And they went back to their country, and after a long time they realized that they had to have wudu for the whole tawaf. What should they do? So according to Ash-Shafi'i and the majority of the scholars, they are in the state of ihram. But they cannot break their ihram yet. That means they cannot, if they are not married, they cannot get married. They cannot cut from their hair or their nails. This is what I wanted to clarify. So until they cannot do that until they go back to Mecca and finish the tawaf with the wudu. So is there a way out? So one of the scholars, one of the four, Imam Abu Hanifa, he has a solution for that. So according to Abu Hanifa, so the wudu is not a requisite for the tawaf, but it's obligatory to have wudu. What does that mean? That means if someone made the tawaf without the wudu, according to Abu Hanifa, his tawaf is valid. However, he has to sacrifice an animal, okay, in Mecca, and this way he solved his issue of tawaf, right? So inshallah, today we're gonna start talking about the ghusl. All right. So inshallah, we're gonna cover it either in one class or 2 classes, depending on the time. So the first thing we're gonna talk about the reasons that obligate the ghusl. The reasons that obligate the ghusl. What make the ghusl obligatory? So there are 6 things. One is releasing semen. The second is jima', the intimate relation between the man and woman. The third is the death when someone dies. It's obligatory to be to have to do ghusl for him or for her. So the 3 things are for men and women. These 3 things. The other 3 are for women. The menstruation. This is one thing. Number 4. Number 5, postpartum bleeding. Number 6 is giving birth. Okay, we're going to talk about them in detail. So releasing semen, according to Shafi'i, it doesn't matter if it was released with a sexual desire or without. So according to Shafi'i, it doesn't matter. So if someone, let's say, he has some problem in his prostate or something like that, or any other medical issue that makes him release the semen without a desire, or after a long time after the relation. So some people have this kind of medical issue. So according to Shafi'i, he has to do ghusl after releasing the semen. So is there a way out? Yes, Abu Hanifa. Some other scholars said no. So he doesn't have to do ghusl if releasing the semen without desire, without sexual desire. It is just because of some kind of medical issue or something like that. So he doesn't have to do ghusl, he just has to do wudu. This is according to Abu Hanifa. Shafi'i and others, said no, he has to do the ghusl, right? Second is jima', having the relation between the man and the woman, complete relation, whether it was semen was released or not. And this is obvious. The third is the death. If someone dies, you have to do ghusl for him or for her. Um, Number four, menstruation. So after the woman finish her period, she has to do ghusl. And the postpartum bleeding, the same thing. We're gonna talk about these two in details in a separate class, inshallah. And number six is giving birth. So if the woman gave birth, if she didn't have any bleeding, there are some cases, there are not too many, but there are some cases. Even in that case, she also needs to do ghusl. Right. The second thing we're going to talk about are the pillars of the ghusl. So the pillars of ghusl are two. You have two pillars. One is the intention, right? And the second is to wash the whole body and be aware of any curves in the body. Under the armpits, under the breast, between the legs, any part of the body, all the body has to be washed. The water has to reach all the parts of the body. So do we have to wash the ears from inside? No. We wash it from, we make the water reach the outside of the ear, not the inside. Do we have to wash the eyes from inside? No, we don't have to. It's not obligatory, and we don't have to. Do we have to do gargling? It's sunnah, but it's not an obligatory. Do we have to do rinsing for our nostrils? It's also sunnah. It's not obligatory. We have to make sure when we wash our body, again, every all the skin of our body has got water, has been washed, between our fingers, here. And if someone have a ring or something, he has to move it to make the water be released under that. And if the woman has ring or any other kind of jewelry, she has to, make the water pass through to her skin. And if a woman has, so if some women like to make braids for their hair, does he have to take it off? No, they can keep it, so they wash it, they don't have to take it off. So does the water have to reach the skin of the head? Yes. So we have to wash our head thoroughly. If someone has a thick hair, so he has or she has to make sure that the water reaches under the hair. Does the water have to reach under the beard? Yes. Someone has thick beard, it doesn't matter. So he has to make sure the water reaches under the hair of his beard. In wudu we mentioned that he doesn't have to, but in ghusl he has to. Now we are going to talk about the sunan of ghusl, or in other words, how to do the ghusl, according to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So we'll mention the sunans, the sunnahs, and we will also mention in between the fard. And we're gonna, clarify which is fard and which is sunnah. So first of all, it's sunnah cover part of the body when we do the ghusl. Prophet ﷺ used to wear izar. Izar, the lower part, that we wear when we go for Hajj. So this lower part is called the izar. Prophet ﷺ used to wear izar. He do ghusl. So if most of us doesn't do this usually, that's okay. It's just sunnah. So if we do it, we take more reward. If we don't do it, the ghusl is still valid. The second is, alhamdulillah, we all do the second. So we do the ghusl in a closed area, or we cover the area around us. So we usually do it in the bathroom or something. So that's good. If we are in a camp or something, we have we try to make it somewhere it's hidden from or covered from outside. The third is, don't use too much water. Also, be save the water, preserve the water as well as much as you can. As we mentioned about the food, is to use uh, water was moderate to hot water, hot water. Summer, we use the water temperature which is good for our, so it's become that we post slowly without being harmed by the water. So number five is to say Bismillah. So Bismillah or Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Before we do start anything, we say Bismillah. 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 سبب حديث كل أمر جبار لا يبدأ فيه بسم الله فهو فهو أقطع فهو أكتر يعني anything any matter that we don't start with Bismillah, so it's not complete, it's incomplete. So number six is that intention. So Shafi'i and majority. One is Junub, he has to make ghusl, to swim without having any intention. So according to Abu Hanifa, his ghusl is valid. So this is counted as a ghusl. But all the others said the niyyah, the intention, is a pillar for ghusl. Number six, saying the intention by tongue. This is mustahab, this is sunnah for the Shafi'i and the majority. Number seven, start washing from the top. Start by the head and all the way down. Number nine, start with the head. Start with that part of the body. Number 10, make wudu. Make wudu before doing the ghusl. Number 11, cleaning the filthy parts of the, especially in the area of the oil, or clean that with soap or shampoo or whatever. This is sunnah also. The Prophet ﷺ used to do that before he does the ghusl. Number 12, washing the head 3 times. So at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was no shower head. So the Prophet ﷺ used to use bucket 3 times to wash his head. So in our case, we don't have to hold the shower hand 3 times. We don't have to do that. As long as we have the shower. So that's good. But in case we make a shower, from a bucket, so we can, follow the sunnah of the Prophet in that one. Number 13, washing the whole body with the water, and this is not sunnah. This is fard. Okay, this is pillar. Number 13 is gargling. We said the gargling. Number 15, both the sunnah of ghusl. Yeah, and this is Allah Alam, this is all of them. And if we can end with one, is to wash, end the ghusl with washing the feet. Also, we already concluded that the same starts with the first and then because they didn't have the bottom was like the bottom of the ground will be filled with water, maybe 1 inch or so. So it's good to wash the feet, end with washing the feet from down to the place of the ghusl. Okay, so if now I have to do this. So my wudu, I don't have wudu. So I did one of the things that break the wudu, and also I did one of the things that break the ghusl today. So if I do the ghusl only without doing wudu, then it will be counted as considered as as someone who wudu. Yes. So what is the best? The best is to do wudu and ghusl separately. What is number two? To do the ghusl and have the intention of ghusl and wudu together. At least, which is good, which is also good, which is okay. To do the ghusl without the intention of wudu, so the ghusl is sufficient, so you can pray ghusl without having to do wudu. But what is the sunnah? To do wudu ghusl separately. Each of them to be done separately. Second is to do both, do the ghusl and have the intention of both ghusl and wudu. The third is to do ghusl only. All of this validate the other things that cannot do without wudu. Um, so what if we simply break the wudu during the ghusl? So the ghusl is valid, right? But we have to repeat our wudu. We have to do our wudu. But the ghusl is okay. It's not uh, uh, um, not desirable, but if someone breaks the wudu during the ghusl, while he's doing ghusl or she's doing ghusl, if that's wind or something or anything like that, he can continue the ghusl. He just repeats the wudu. Um, so, and this is especially important, especially for the youth. So if someone wakes up wet and he's not sure if that thing or some other what we have stated. So what he can do is, he, to go, to get out from any, so he was not. So he should someday himself. So this is the feeling, right? Because he saw the dream and he found himself wet. So this is definitely steam. So he should look at the steaming, how it looks like when it's wet, how it smells, so how it looks like, and how it smells. And so at that moment he knows how his own steaming look like and how his own steaming smell like. So if that happened again, if he's wake up wet after that without having a dream, if it's the same have the same features, so this is steaming. If not, so it's not. All right. So now we are going to talk about what are the prohibited acts for the one who is, in janaba. In janaba means he made or he committed, let's say, one of the major events. So I will clarify this right now. So the things that unify the wudu are called, like as a technical term, minor events. Okay, al-hadath al-asghar, minor events. The events or the things or the acts that breaks or nullify the wudu. So the things that make make the ghusl obligatory are called major events. Okay, al-hadath al-akbar. So if someone has done any of these major events that make the ghusl obligatory, right? So what are the acts prohibited for him or for her? 10 acts are prohibited for the one who is in janaba until she purified themselves by doing that. So the first five is the same as five or that are prohibited without wudu. Number one, the prayer census. So everyone agrees on that. The prayer, the salah, sujood al-tilawa. So if he or she heard any ayat, it has a sajda, not make a sajda for tilawa, that's prohibited, that's haram. Third is sujood al-shukr, prohibited to do sujood shukr even if something good happens. So he has to be in wudu and in before he or she does that. All right. Um, and number four is the tawaf. So and in the tawaf we are gonna so for the tawaf, for the one for the men, if he released semen or anything like that, and he has to do wudu. So I'm sorry, he has to do ghusl. So he does ghusl. That's easy. That's not a problem. So the problem comes, with the women when they are during the period, and now it's tawaf time. So we're gonna mention you know multiple actions she can do. So the first, try her best to avoid times of period to do Umrah during that time. So, she knows her schedule, so she arranged with her spouse or or something, not to go for Umrah during the time of period. So if this is, so she tries to take medicine to stop, to stop the period after consulting the doctor. So the scholar, Shafi'i and some other scholars said it's okay to do that. I'm sorry, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they both said she can do that. She can take a medicine to stop the bleeding during the time of tawaf, to be ready to do tawaf without, having the bleeding. So she can do that if the doctor is fine, if the doctor said it's okay. Uh, so there is another option, which is we can talk about it in details later, but I'm going to mention it. So it's called talqid. Some women, so she doesn't like she has a bleeding, in hours. She has bleeding and then for 7 hours she doesn't have bleeding. She knows herself, right? When she is done with that bleeding, she does a shower, she does a ghusl and go for the tawaf. During this 7 hours, she most likely will not have bleeding. After she is done with the tawaf, so she goes and check if everything is dry, so her tawaf is good. Not, so she will have to repeat. And after that, she can do the sa'i. In sa'i, it's okay to do the sa'i during the period, right? The option number 4 is to do tawaf during the um, during the period and sacrifice an animal. And this is according to Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa said it's okay to do tawaf during the period, and she can do that and then sacrifice an animal. Right? So in the Hajj, so now we are talking about Umrah. In the Hajj, the same rules apply. We're going to mention some other differences in Hajj. In Hajj, there is Tawaf al-Qudum. Tawaf al-Qudum, so the Tawaf you do when you arrive to Mecca. This Tawaf is Sunnah. So the woman doesn't have to do it if she is during the period. Tawaf al-Wada'. Tawaf al-Wada' is obligatory according to the majority of the scholars. But for the women who are in the period, it's not obligatory for them. So they don't have to do it. So they can skip it. That's fine. If they no 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 nothing. For the woman if he is in her period. So number 3, Tawaf al-Ifada. Tawaf al-Ifada is a pillar, in Hajj. So she has to do it. So in this case, she can, do one of these 4 options we just mentioned. Number 5 is touching the Mus'haf. So touching the Mus'haf, again, so according to Shafi'i and the 4 scholars, the 4 classic scholars, so it's prohibited if you don't have wudu, and if you have to do ghusl, right? There is an opinion. It's not a strong opinion. It's a weak opinion that if the woman is in the period, that's an exception for her. She can hold the mushaf, by her hand. So to avoid all of that, she can read, from a tablet or a phone, and she can look in the mushaf. We're gonna come to that. So reciting the Quran. Reciting the Quran again. So we finished the 5 things which are common for the wudu and ghusl, right? Number 6, reciting the Quran is, from 6 and onward to number 10. This is for ghusl only. So you cannot do these 5 things if you have to do ghusl, right? What are they? Reciting the Quran. So reciting the Quran again. So the only exception we have some on is, again, the woman if she is in the period or the postpartum ability. So the woman can read, or she can recite the Quran with her eyes, or she can recite the Quran with even moving her lips, by reading, but without making a sound. Okay, this is how Shafi'i explained that, and the majority of the scholars. Imam Malik, he has another opinion. He said the woman can recite the Quran while she is in the period. So, very easily she can recite without any problem. So if the woman is a teacher, the Quran teacher or something, so she can go with that opinion. So without having any, problem. So, number 7 is the one in that state. He cannot or she cannot enter the masjid. Okay, and the masjid here, this masjid, so this floor is the masjid, right? So at the other places, this is an Islamic center. We do some other activities in the Islamic center. So we have bazaar, we have this, we have that. So that's different. But here, this floor is the masjid, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَلَا جُنُبًا إِلَّا عَبِرِ سَبِيلٍ حَتَّى تَغْتَسِلُوا. So, إِلَّا عَبِرِ سَبِيلٍ. So, إِلَّا عَبِرِ سَبِيلٍ added some exceptions, to that condition to entering the masjid. So, let's say someone, is sleeping in the masjid already, and he wake up, and he needs to take a shower. So he can prepare his stuff, the towel and his clothes and stuff, and go to the bathroom to have a shower. So during that time, he is in the masjid, so he doesn't have to run away, run out from the masjid right away. He doesn't have to do that. He just prepare his stuff and go and have a shower. And the other, example, if someone, he doesn't have water, they don't have water in their home, for some reason, and they need to take a shower, and like the only place available is the masjid, so they can come to the masjid to have a shower, you know. So, and if the masjid in the way or is in the way, so I have to pass the other way of the road, so I have to pass by the masjid, for example. So he can enter the masjid and go out of the masjid, but don't stay in the masjid in that state. And the same thing applies for for the woman in the during the prayer. You like for example, in the Eid, the Prophet ﷺ encouraged them to attend the Eid prayers. But of course, during the prayer, they just step away from them. So this is according to the instructions of the Prophet ﷺ. In a place like the firehouse, we pray in the firehouse. Jumu'ah prayer and Tarawih prayer. This is not a masjid. So if someone goes there in the state of he or in the he has one of these 6 or 5 things we mentioned, and he or she needs to do what, so they can go there because this is not a masjid. Number 8 is fasting, and that applies to the mainly to the women with the who has menstruation or postpartum bleeding, and of course you, no one, so we cannot do menstruation you someone this relation right before Fajr, and he is in the state of Janaba, that's okay. So for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 1 hour, so he can shower. It's nothing the problem. Yes, and this is called the the state of being women, menstruation or postpartum. So the jima in this case is haram. It's prohibited for men and women as well. And number 10 is divorce. Divorce is haram during the period. So during the woman period, menstruation, the divorce is haram, prohibited for men. So if you accidentally say it, is it nullified? Not nullified. According to the majority of the scholars, it's not nullified. However, there is an opinion that says it is nullified, but the majority say it's not. One thing we want to mention before we uh, finish, about the prayer, about the salah. All right. So if the woman, her period started right after the adhan of Dhuhr prayer, for example. So now she cannot pray. So what can she do? So she just wait until the period finishes, and then after that she make this prayer that she missed. So if the woman is in the period and then he finished her period after Dhuhr prayer, time. Okay, so the Dhuhr prayer, adhan, all right. So the Dhuhr prayer time entered, and then she finished her period. So her period is done. So she goes to take a shower and pray Dhuhr. Okay. What if the period ends after Asr prayer? So she does Dhuhr and Asr. Okay. So after Dhuhr she does Dhuhr. After Asr she does Dhuhr and Asr. So what if the period ends after Maghrib time, between Maghrib and Isha? He does Maghrib. He has to do Maghrib. What if the period ends after Isha time entered? He has to do Isha and also Maghrib. Okay, so like after Asr, he does Asr and Dhuhr and Asr, but not the other prayer. Like for the other days, he doesn't have to do the prayer, but just the Dhuhr and Asr of that day. She was done with the period, and also Maghrib and Isha for that day if she ends her period after Isha. Allah Ta'ala. Questions?
Yes, I have a question. Maybe a stupid question, to be honest. So, you mentioned that one of the major things that, when you hustle, when you're in a state of hustle, one of the things that's not allowed is sajda shukr. Um, are there any other kinds of sajda as well outside of prayer, or is it only sajda shukr that is usually done? Like, for example, if somebody wants to say astaghfar and they're going down inside.
This is only sajda. Outside the prayer, there are two sajda, sajda tilawa and sajda shukr. Sajda tilawa, when you recite like the 15 places in the Quran,
Right.
there are 15. So if you recite one of them, you do sajda tilawa. And the other thing is sajda shukr. If something good happens, you're waiting for, or something bad you were afraid from, it didn't happen. So you make sujood, as to show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And is there something such as sajda astaghfar?
No.
Like,
Make dua though, you can make such a make dua, right?
Uh,
I mean, it's not recommended. But okay.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so you can do dua, while sitting down. So the etiquette of dua is to do the dua, while sitting down or in the prayer. Yeah, this is the best to do.
Can you talk about a little bit more about the tawaf? I mean, powerful bida of ifada, right? The scenario. People like us, when we go there, first, do we have to do the tawaf? Let's say if I reach today and I have intention, I'll do my Umrah, the tawaf is tomorrow. I maybe pray the Isha or whatever time it is there, but I'm not doing the Umrah started, even though I'm in a state of Ihram. So what would be that one situation? And also leaving the Makkah, what is the best situation to the tawaf?
So as long as you are keeping your ihram, so you do it at your convenience.
So that's
So
the part
there's
of the
no-
Umrah.
Yeah, so there's no rush. Do it.
Okay. So once I reach there, I don't have to do the tawaf, right?
Yeah, that tawaf, when you just come, you don't have to do it, unless if you do it for Umrah, that's another thing. But I'm saying if it just tawaf al-qudum, it's called tawaf
Tawaf
al-qudum.
al-Qudum, right?
This
So
is sunnah.
this is sunnah. If you miss it, so that's not. The same thing from the tawaf al-Bida as well, right?
Tawaf al-wada'. Tawaf al-wada' is, according to the majority of the scholar, is obligatory. Some said it's sunnah, but the Shafi'i and the others said it's obligatory.
During the Hajj, I know they say everybody they do the tawaf al-Bida.
So, during what?
during the Hajj.
During
When
the
they
Hajj.
are living there, they
Yes,
all
yes.
do that.
When they, yeah.
About the Umrah time also, you have to do that.
The Umrah, no, it's not obligatory in Umrah.
Oh.
This is only for Hajj. Tawaf al-Wada' is for Hajj. Yeah. When you go for Hajj, so it's obligatory according to Shafi'i and some other scholars to do Tawaf al-Wada'. But for Umrah, it's just an optional thing. So if you want to do it,
So that etiquette, right? Like etiquette of the Kaaba Sharif.
yes.
So if we are there for 3-4 days in Mecca, we did the Umrah, and after that we do a nafal tawaf. But at the end, we should do the tawaf niyyah for wida, tawaf wida.
No, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
So Tawaf it's the greeting of Masjid Al-Haram. When you go to Masjid Al-Haram, as we come to the Masjid, when we come to the Masjid here, to greet the Masjid, to do Tahiyyat al-Masjid, Tahiyya means greeting. So when you come to the Masjid, we do 2 rak'ah, right? So in the Masjid Al-Haram, the greeting is to do Tawaf 7 times, 7 rounds, I mean. But if you can't, for some reason, it's very crowded or you are tired, you don't have to. You can make 2 rak'ah and sit down or go for the prayer. And you don't have to do tawaf before you leave, like as you have to do when you go for Hajj. When you go for Hajj, there is tawaf al-wada', but when you go for Umrah, there is no tawaf al-wada', but you can do tawaf, as much as you want.
Sa'i as well. Sa'i too, right? As much.
Sa'i is just one time
This one.
for Umrah or for Hajj. Like the Sa'i, you do the Sa'i, the 7 rounds or the 7 times ashwat, to do it for Hajj or for Umrah. You don't do it, no, there is no such a thing. The only thing is, Nawafil, you can do it as much as you can, is the Tawaf, not the Sa'i.
If you go to Tawaf, for example, let's say I'm on the roof and did only 2, I can come back and start from there to the third, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, you can. So if you want to do 2 in the top, 2 in the middle, 2 in the ground level. So
let's say if we're doing tawaf upstairs and get tired after doing 2 or 3, I can start back up and finish 7 like that, right?
yeah, you can keep count. Like if you finish already 2 in the top, so you go down and do the 3rd and 4th like this. You don't have to start
2 hours later or next day or something, right?
You're talking about which the
Nawafil.
the Nawafil, yes, you can do that.
That's what I'm
Yes.
talking
Yeah.
So Nafil actually is 7, the odd number, right?
Yes.
That's the odd number. It's better to do the odd number. Let's say if you're tired, you can do 1, 3. Okay.
الله خير. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلالك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما اخرنا وما اسررنا وما اعلنا وما اسرفنا وما انت اعلم به منا. اللهم على طاعتك اعنا ومن شر خلقك سلمنا والى غيرك لا تكلنا برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. صلى الله عليه وسلم محمد وعلى اله.